get a lot of Welcome to Engineering Live. I am your host, Jayla McCoy. I am a junior here at UK studying mechanical engineering with a minor in computer science. We are coming to you live from the Hardiman Theater at the Davis Marksberry building. We have a great broadcast for you tonight. I am joined by three bright engineering students from our College of Engineering. Tonight we will be chatting about life as an engineering or computer science student at UK. Additionally, we will be answering all of your questions. So if there is anything you would like to know, please post it in the chat. So a little bit about me to start off. As I said, my name is Jayla McCoy, and I am from Cleveland, Ohio. I am majoring in mechanical engineering with a minor in computer science, and I am a junior here. Some things I'm involved in would be I am a second-year resident advisor. I am the president of the National Society of Black Engineers. I am in SEAM, and I'm also a Lewis Honors College ambassador too.
Hi, my name is Marley Skolton. I am a junior studying biomedical engineering from Columbus, Ohio. A few things I am involved in include the UK dance team. I am an engineering ambassador along with an LLP peer mentor. I am a member of the Shellgren program. I am part of SEAM, which is on the honors pathway, and if I didn't already say, Society of Women Engineers as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Bryson Honeycutt and I'm a second year student in mechanical engineering. I'm originally from Knott County, Kentucky, and some things that I'm involved at here in campus are the SEAM Honors Pathway, Tau Beta Pi Engineering Honor Society, and the Pi Tau Sigma Mechanical Engineering Honor Society.
Hi, I'm Mary Rose. I'm a junior in chemical engineering with a certificate in biopharmaceuticals and environmental engineering. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and some things I'm involved in on campus are I'm a member of the Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority, I'm a Shellgren Fellow, I'm involved in the SEAM Honors Pathway, I'm a member of Engineers Without Borders, as well as the treasurer for AICHE.
Great. Well, before we get going on our conversation tonight, I do want to make note that May 1st is the UK confirmation deadline, so be sure to schedule your orientation by May 1st. Lastly, I want to encourage anyone in our audience who has not visited us to consider doing so. We are currently offering online and on-campus visits as well as special online events so that prospective students and their families can discover what is possible at UK's College of Engineering. You can check out our visit options at engr.uky.edu/visit. The link to visit us is in the description below. Now let's get on to what you have all been waiting for, the questions. So just again, please make sure that you are posting them in the chat. I will be checking them thoroughly, so ask us anything that you want to. So let's start out with an easy one. Why UK? What made you pick our amazing College of Engineering?
I can start off with UK is only 3 hours from home, so for me, that's one of the things that did it for me. Additionally, specifically the College of Engineering, here at UK, I kind of feel like we're an engineering school. If you have taken a tour, you know that in the middle of campus is where our engineering kind of quad is, and all the buildings you look around are engineering oriented, which is really nice. So they're all in a close vicinity of each other.
For me with UK, obviously here we have the top ranked engineering program in the state. And as someone who was always interested in going to engineering, that was, a really strong attraction for me. I mean, really just the flexibility that UK offers within their College of Engineering is really great. I know lots of other schools will try to lock you in a specific path or, really strictly schedule when you'll be taking certain classes or when you'll have certain experiences. But here at UK, they really do a great job of really tailoring your educational experience around your interests and allowing you to kind of discover, your own path and really set out on what really suits you the best.
For me, it's all the opportunities the UK College of Engineering offered. They offered you not only opportunities within the college, but also opportunities to be involved with campus as a whole. I felt like they really encouraged engineers to be involved in Greek life or to be involved in student government or even be on a sports team as well as pursuing our education, and that was very important to me.
Great. Well, we have our first question in the chat. Mason Watts wants to know how easy is it to balance sports and engineering? So I know, Marley, you said you're on the dance team, and then for everyone else, just how has it been balancing your involvement with your extracurriculars as well as being an engineering major?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like high school does a really good job setting you up for college, at least for me. So as a student athlete on the UK dance team, I dance at both football and basketball games, and I still find it very manageable to do that with engineering. Especially coming into college, your schedule is not like it was in high school where you have school the entire day. Especially with your first couple years, there's many different time slots for each class that you have to take throughout the day, so you can kind of schedule your day as you see fit, as it fits you. And definitely is easy to work out, especially if you're a student athlete here. You have separate advisors and other mentors that help you along the way and make sure you have everything figured out. And I definitely say it's not too overwhelming. There's many people here, many resources to help you with time management skills as well.
I think the time management is just really important to know what exactly you're going to accomplish every day, to like write out a schedule, but to also know who you're to get study groups with your friends and get in group organizations, because they really help you stay on topic, and they also help make sure that like you know what's going on and make sure you have the best resources possible to manage your time.
Yeah, like Marley and Mary Rose said, really time management skills is key. As someone who was involved in a lot of stuff in high school, it was, something that I was familiar with, but in college your schedule is set up very differently, where you do have a lot of free time throughout the day, so really being parts of student organizations is a really great way to be involved. And usually lots of times the organizations that you're a part of will be willing to work around maybe schedule conflicts and stuff like that, so it's really easy to be involved on campus and succeed academically as well.
Emily Williams has another question. This is for the ladies in SWE. So what is the SWE program and how does that look like for UK? Because my sister is a part of OSU's SWE, so I just wanted to compare.
Yeah, so SWE stands for Society of Women Engineers, and you can be as little or as greatly involved with it as you'd like. I know that they have meetings about once a month. There's food along with a speaker at those meetings usually, which you can learn a lot from. There's also, I know, a conference once a year. Every year, I think it's in a different state. I wish I could have gone my freshman year. I believe it was out in California, and a lot of people came back with co-ops just from going to that SWE conference, which is really great. But with the meetings that I've gone to, I've met so many new friends, so many awesome people from all different engineering majors, and have learned a lot of outside experiences.
Yeah, they do a really great job. Every meeting is sponsored by a different organization. So the last one was sponsored by Lockheed Martin, and so Lockheed brings a speaker, which is awesome because then you get to hear about speakers from all these different industries with all these different job opportunities, and then at the end they're always willing to talk to you. And it's a great way to get not intern and co-op opportunities, but it's also a great way to connect with potential, like maybe this is an industry you're interested in and you just don't know how to get into it, and it's a great way to match with mentors.
I agree. I have tons of friends in SWE. They always have great things to say about it. It's very diverse and a great community to be a part of. Another question Emily had was, is there an environmental engineering program and what does that look like? So I know we do have an environmental engineering program. Nobody here is in it, but does anyone know someone who is in the program? Any of you by any chance?
Well, I am in the environmental engineering program. UK offers it's a certificate. So our program's set up a little different. It's targeted for chemical engineers, and it's a certificate. You start as a junior, and throughout it you take classes through the civil engineering department. And what it does is allow you to get your environmental engineering. You can sit for the FE, which is the Future Engineers exam, at the end of your 4 years, which is required for environmental engineering, or you can just get the certificate and not have that. But it's also a great way to figure out if this is exactly what you want to do, because it is a very specific field.
And speaking of certificates, something that is very close to that are our minors. So can any of you tell me how easy it is getting a minor with an engineering degree, and are any of you currently pursuing one?
I know that it is very feasible to get a minor on top of an engineering major, especially math minors. Almost all engineers would only have to take probably about 2 to 3 extra classes for a minor in math, excuse me. I did not decide to do so, but I know I have plenty of friends that have a math minor on top of their engineering major.
So in chemical engineering, we do something a little bit different besides minors. We do something called certificates. So we have 4 very feasible certificates to get: power and energy, biopharmaceuticals, wine, distillery, and brewery, as well as environmental engineering. And these are very, very similar to minors. The reason they're called certificate is a very complex advisor role, but really they're the same thing. And what they do is they give you the opportunity to explore what you want to do within chemical engineering, and it's very feasible. So I'm currently getting 2 certificates. I know most people can get 2 very easily, and you just have to work with your elective spaces to make sure it's accomplishable.
And then piggybacking off of them, I really like how there are tons of different minors available here at UK. Some of them aren't even in your major. I know you can get a minor in dance or piano, which is something completely different from engineering, but UK has many opportunities. If you're interested and you want to know which ones are out there, if you go onto our website and look up University of Kentucky minors, you can see the whole list. So if you're interested in that, we definitely have a website to help you figure that out. So the first engineering experience a lot of students are going to have will be FYE and the Living Learning Program. What was it like for you guys in the first year engineering program, as well as living in the Living Learning Program if you were there?
Yes, so I lived in the LLP, the Living Learning Program, which is the dorm Woodland Glen 3, and I would not change a thing. So everybody in the LLP is assigned a peer mentor. Her name was Auburn Mattingly, and I'm still in contact with her today. Actually led me to become a peer mentor. And basically everyone with a peer mentor, the peer mentors are there to check in on you, to be a resource, to be a helping hand, and you can use them as much or as little as you need to. They can help you both for in-school and out-of-school questions. They will get you any resource or as much help as you need. And yeah, with Woodland Glen 3, there are 2 classrooms on the first floor, which is really great. They're used for many reasons. First off, they have classes, so when you're scheduling, you can see if your class is going to be in Woodland Glen 3, and I recommend making those the first ones of the day. That way you can roll right out of bed and go straight down to class, which is what I did. Also, those classrooms are used for activities throughout the semesters, set up by both your RAs and your peer mentors. And then lastly, another big thing that happens in those is free tutoring, so it's called The Study, and several times a week we have students that are tutors in there for free, and you can just go down while working on your homework and ask any questions along the way, which is really great, all in the same dorm. Additionally, the majority of the people living in Woodland Glen 3 are all first-year engineering students, so that's how I met some of my best friends that I'm still close with today. I literally would just open up my door and yell down the hallway who was working on the homework that night, and because of our first year engineering program, regardless of what major you're going into, you're all taking about the same classes, and so it was really nice to stay focused on my studies and get help on homework and such.
For me, with the first year engineering and the LLP, it was a really great networking opportunity. Like Marley said, most of the people in that building will all be engineers. And then in your first year engineering classes, it will consist of students from all different majors. So it's really a great way to gain a lot of different perspectives across all engineering disciplines. And then within the FYE classes, the faculty for those classes have a lot of times had a lot of industry experience. So that they can serve as a great resource for you when it comes time to make that decision on what major you want. For me, as someone who was not really certain about what major they wanted to choose when they were going into engineering, that was a great way for me to learn about the majors and really make the best decision for me at the end of my first year.
So I came in with my chemical engineering major, and the first year engineering program really let me explore it, because when I say I changed my major 10 times, I changed my major 10 times. Every single week I'd be emailing my advisor saying I wanted to switch to a different type of engineering. And the first year engineering program let me do that without having to constantly change my classes or try to move around my schedule. They were very good about that, as well as letting me see what exactly a mining engineering did and a chemical engineering, because a lot of times when you come into college, these are just names and words that you don't really know what you would be doing as a career. And the first year engineering program does a great job, especially the faculty. Something really unique about our first year engineering program faculty is all they do is teach. They do not research, they're not in charge of anything else. So that means that their #1 goal is to take care of the first year engineering students. So they're very available to help you with any questions or any outside of class concerns or anything. They're readily available for that, and I think that's a great resource for our first year engineers.
All right, these are some great questions. Just a friendly reminder, please continue to post all the questions you have in our chat. We are eager to answer all of them, so just make sure that you are always putting those questions in there. Mary Rose, this one is for you. Mason Watts would like to know what the chemical engineering program is like.
I've actually absolutely loved it. So the chemical engineering program here is a 3-year program because everyone takes the first year engineering courses. So it starts as a sophomore with a great introductory class taught by currently one of the deans of the College of Engineering, Kim Anderson. She's absolutely phenomenal. And the chemical engineering program walks you through an introduction to process principles, and then you'll spend your sophomore year breaking down those process principles into separations, thermodynamics, and then as a junior you'll go into heat and mass and additional separations, and that's when you start your lab classes. So sophomore year is all about getting all this information and all these background knowledge, and then junior and senior year is taking all that math and science skills and applying it to lab classes and to design application. It's a really great program. I think it really prepares you for whatever career you want to go through in chemical engineering. The big thing they push is these certificates because it helps you decide what exact pathway you are. And their certificates help you tailor your electives to what career you want in the future. So they do a really good job about that. And we have the brand new Jim Beam Institute coming to campus, which means our distillery, brewing, and wine sciences certificate will be massively expanding starting next year, which is a great opportunity for, especially in Kentucky, where bourbon production is super high.
As you can tell, it is pretty fun being a chemical engineer. Daniel J. Would like to know what innovative technologies are used in the engineering program. So maybe if you guys could talk a little bit about the research opportunities, some cool projects you've worked on, and maybe a little bit about the Innovation Center.
Yeah, for sure, I can start. So first about the Innovation Center, I actually work there. I've now worked there for the past 3 semesters. The Innovation Center is a makerspace for all engineers, and everyone in the first year engineering program will at least walk through the door probably twice, if not a few more, to get some projects completed with the first year engineering program. And then after that, depending on your engineering major, that place will definitely be useful for other group projects and other individual projects to kind of make prototypes or kind of just get used to some of the technologies and devices we have in there. We have 3D printers, laser cutters, CNC mills, all sorts of different things, and it's only expanding from there. And then as far as research goes, with the Shellgren program that I got involved with sophomore year, I got into research, and so now I'm going on my 4th semester being involved with research, and though I'm a biomedical engineer, I work with some like biomechanics, kinesiology, that College of Education actually, but it's been a great experience. We've done now 3 different research projects that I've been involved in, and it's been really awesome to work with grad students and kind of get their perspective on the graduate studies here.
So I've also had the opportunity to research through the Shellgren program like Marley, and so I'm doing research within the chemical engineering college, and within the chemical engineering I'm actually got the opportunity to research with my senior advisor, Dr. Hilt. He's done an absolutely amazing job, and it's really walked me through the process of development of drug applications and drug delivery systems so I can figure out if that's what I want to do. Within this, a lot of the chemical engineering labs are housed in our amazing building, FPAT, on campus. And all chemical engineers will have access to labs in FPAT because in the basement, as juniors and seniors, we take a class, basically our lab class. It's a 3-semester class. It starts 2nd semester as a junior. And in that basement, we have opportunities to we have a full-scale batch distillation system, 4 different size packing columns, a full Viper system. And these are large-scale equipment that in reality would probably take up the space of this room, that they've shrunk down and given us the opportunity to work on a small scale, which is really awesome because when you go into industry or you go into an interview and people start talking to you about these different machinery and different equipment you're going to be, you're like, oh, I know what that is. I've worked with it in class, and that really gives you the upper hand when you're going into those job interviews.
Yeah, like Marley was talking about earlier, the Innovation Center really is one of the great places within our College of Engineering. And I think that the courses that we take really do a great job of integrating some of the technology that we have into the curriculum. I know, like she mentioned earlier, with the first year engineering, all students will complete a project that you'll work with other students of all different disciplines to create. Ours was a water sampling device, but it changes from year to year. And students really get a hands-on opportunity to use a lot of the 3D printing technologies and laser cutting technologies to create these contraptions and new devices. And then in my statics class as well, we had the opportunity to use some of the technology in there. So we just really have a plethora of new technology to use, and I think we do a really great job of giving students the opportunity to use that both for their courses and outside of that, just to explore as well.
And then I know another thing about the Innovation Center that is really nice is a lot of the tools that you can use, they're free. So you can come in there if you ever want to just experiment or try something new. There's always people around to help you out too. So you're never lost or you're never alone. So that's another great thing about the Innovation Center. Emily Williams wants to know about co-op opportunities and how they work. So I know a few of us have done co-ops. So can you guys just talk about your experience? How did you apply? And how did your career advisors help you out?
So I've had the opportunity I've completed a co-op and a half. I like to call it a half because of COVID. And then I also will be co-oping this summer. So my first co-op was with Windstream Technologies. And I say a half co-op because I got like 4 days into it, and then we were all sent home due to COVID, so it was a little bit cut short. And then my second one was with Shamrock Technologies in Henderson, Kentucky, and then my third one will be with GM this summer. And I got my first two co-op opportunities through the career fair here on campus. The Career Counseling Center is absolutely awesome, and they do a lot to make sure you're ready. And then my third opportunity I got based off my resume on an online application. And the best thing I think about co-oping, especially all mine have been during the summer, is that they allow you to do very different jobs. So at my first one, I was doing more of like a technologies job. And then at my second one, I was doing an operations one, which is basically like running heavy equipment and machinery. And then at my third one, I'll be an environmental engineer. And those just help me determine exactly what I want to do when I graduate.
So for me, I have not had the opportunity to co-op yet, but I will be co-oping in the fall at Toyota. And in me landing that position, it was very instrumental, the role that the Engineering Career and Co-op office here at UK had. They are always available to answer any questions and really work with you to get you ready for an interview or just to help your resume. We have resume review sessions consistently, and a lot of mock interview and practice interview situations where companies will actually come in and do a mock interview session with you and really help you to strengthen your skills and really make yourself as marketable as possible when you're looking for co-op positions and jobs even in the future. And then like Mary Rose said, the career fairs are a really great way to connect with lots of employers. And I think at our last career fair we had over 100 different companies there. So, and it spans across all disciplines of engineering. So those are a really great way to connect with employers and really find co-ops that are suited for you.
And what Bryson was saying is we have our own career center. It's just for the College of Engineering. It's very specified, very targeted. So they know exactly what engineers are looking for and what exactly we need.
Yeah, for sure. And then being a student athlete, I haven't had the opportunity to be able to take a full semester off or a full summer off, but I was fortunate enough to have a paid position shadowing at Cardinal Hill last summer, which is a rehabilitation hospital. And as a biomedical engineer, that was really cool. For 6 weeks straight, I got to shadow someone different each week. So like 1 week I shadowed a physical therapist, 1 week I shadowed an occupational therapist and a nurse. And then at the end of those 6 weeks, it actually turned into a class. And that biomedical engineering class was one where we kind of came up with ideas of a tool that could be implemented in hospitals to kind of help solve a problem or issue that we saw within those 6 weeks of shadowing, which was really cool for some hands-on experience, some prototyping experience, some teamwork experience, and yeah.
And then just emphasizing what they've been saying about the career fairs, I know we have one in the fall and the spring, so you get 2 opportunities to try and get a job offer in the summer, spring, or fall. That's definitely how I got my offers to work at GE Appliances for 2 rotations. So just putting more emphasis on that and how they prepare you to be ready for that and for the interviews as well.
Something I can touch on too, even though I knew that I couldn't have a full-on co-op either during the school year or during the summer, I still attend the career fairs because it's a very great experience, handing your resumes, talking to companies, and so I definitely recommend, even if you're not particularly looking for anything, as early as being a freshman, I highly recommend going to these career fairs that are offered here at UK.
And freshmen do get them. Like I would say most freshmen, if you go and you're active and you're looking for them, you can receive co-op and opportunities. You just have to be willing, and you need to go talk to the Career Counseling Center because they're going to help you target your resume as a freshman and make it look more full.
Scott Young would like to know how many years do students normally participate in the LLP. So just speaking from like an RA reference point of view, I've seen people stay there from freshman year to senior year. I've seen people stay there for a couple of years and then go to another dorm. There's definitely no requirement that you have to be there for like all 4 years, but I definitely see people who, when they come there their first year, they love it and they end up staying in it till their senior year.
I loved it and I still wanted to be a part of it. However, it wasn't in my plans to live there in the dorm for another year. So because I loved it so much and because I wanted to stay a part of it is why I became an LLP peer mentor. But yeah, again, I wouldn't have even cared if I had to stay in there all 4 years because the LLP is one experience like no other.
I lived in it as a freshman. I absolutely loved the experience. And then my peer mentor actually as a freshman turned out to be my grad advisor now, and it's just really interconnected, and it really gives you the support system you need. So even though I only lived there for 1 year, to say I'm no longer on the LLP is not true. I do all the activities. I'm still always at Woodland 3.
For me, I've been a part of the engineering LLP for both my first and second year, and I came back just because of all the great programming and events that go on at that location. And even the study tutoring resource by itself is really worth to me for staying at Woodland Glen 3. And then on top of that, it's at a prime location on campus where you're close to the 90 cafeteria, Kroger Field, the library, so you're really close to a lot of great resources.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Sounds like the Engineering Living Learning program is the best place that you want to be on campus. Friendly reminder to make sure that you guys are still putting questions in the chat. We have a lot more room for more questions, so please continue to do that. So obviously we all know that engineering can be very hard sometimes. It can definitely challenge you mentally. And so what have helped you guys find momentum in your engineering major?
For me, it's definitely my friends. First semester here, I came to Kentucky and I knew no one. I had a random roommate. My parents dropped me off and I didn't even have an emergency contact in the state of Kentucky when I moved here. And very quickly, like the first 2 weeks, especially like with Campus Ruckus and all the K-Week activities they have to get you involved in, I started making friends. Now as a junior going into my senior year, I can say I have a very close group of chemical engineering friends and just engineering friends in general that I would say constantly keep me going. When we've had a rough week with exams and presentations and posters, they're always like, let's go do something fun, like let's go to the basketball game, let's go to the football game. And especially in engineering, it's really important to set time aside to go have fun with your friends. So for me, that's been like, I, as a junior, still have season tickets to all the football and basketball games. And I go to them all, and it really helps me bond with my friends and let me enjoy college while I'm still pursuing my degree.
Something else I can touch on is not only getting close with people in your major, but also getting close with your faculty. It kind of takes the stress off, as stressful as it may sound, talking to one of your professors. I have found that the classes that have been the most successful for me are the ones that I'm very close with my professor in. It could even mean going from a B to an A, just because I know of how hard your work ethic is, and if you're that close, because you've been going to their office hours, because you reached out to them when you needed help and you asked questions, keyword, ask questions. I would say something that took stress off my load like all throughout college is just becoming really close with my faculty.
Yeah, and in addition to networking with students and faculty, I think a great way to kind of just alleviate stress and maybe take your mind off of some of your studies at times is to find organizations outside of engineering that maybe suit hobbies or interests that you have. For me personally, I'm not a Division I athlete, as I'm sure you can tell. So joining the recreational tennis club was a really great way for me to continue something that I did in high school and really find a continuation opportunity for me to continue a hobby that I had from high school. And that's a great way to just kind of take your mind off of your studies at times and, you know, get out and have some fun. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's very important finding sources that are not 100% related to engineering all the time. You definitely want to make sure that, you know, if you and your friends just had a hard exam, that you can like go out, go to the movies, go to the mall after, and just making sure that you recognize ways to like de-stress and just take engineering off of your mind, because I'm telling you, all of us are not always 100% engineering 100% of the time. We definitely take breaks for ourselves when needed. So Mason Watts wants to know, is it easy making the switch from high school to college? So what welcomed you all to UK's campus? Did any of you participate in K-Week or EGR 101 or the LLP?
Yeah, I think there are endless resources and endless opportunities to get acclimated to college. I think whether you're an extrovert or introvert, it won't be hard here at UK. With K-Week, so that's what you'll do coming into college, like before even starting college. There's something to do every minute of the day. So I highly recommend with K-Week, don't just sit in your bed. I know that bed's comfortable. It has a Tempur-Pedic mattress, I know, but it's going to be there. It's not leaving you. So do all the activities that are there for you for K-Week. You'll meet so many new people. You'll have a K-Week group. You'll have a K-Week leader. You'll have LLP things if you decide to live in the LLP. So I really, before school starts, I highly recommend going to all the activities and all of the kind of things that are set out for you to do. And just right then and there is what will help you get acclimated to college before classes even begin.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say K-Week is a great way to get out and meet people and really just get to interact and get a sense of what it's going to be like when you do start classes. And then once classes start, I think a great way to interact with others is just start to make study groups and really find those people that are going to be in your classes and start to develop those relationships, because a lot of those students are going through the same things that you are. So they're a great way to connect and really start to build the sense of community that you're going to have here as you transition from high school into college.
So I had a little different coming to college experience just because I did join a sorority, so I went through sorority recruitment. So when I first got to campus, I did not have the opportunity to go through K-Week. Instead, I went through sorority formal recruitment, which, if you're ever considering it, was great and definitely is something you can do as an engineer. But looking back, I wish I had had the opportunity to go through all the K-Week activities, especially the ones hosted by the College of Engineering, because they have a involvement fair in the quad on the second day of K-Week. And going to that, you meet upperclassmen engineers. You meet other engineers who are maybe thinking chemical like you or mechanical like Bryson was. And that's just really important because you're like, oh, now I know all these new people. And then when I see them in classes, it's a great way to get to know more people.
Yeah, and I know personally one thing that I had struggled with coming from high school to college was just my study skills and like recognizing them. So just being understanding with myself and knowing that if I need to go to the library to study for 5 hours, then I just need to go to the library and we just have to get it all through. And so also just like having an accountability partner to like come with me so that we can keep each other focused and on the task at hand. Were there any struggles that you guys just had to go through and like what helped you with that?
Well, I went from a two-sport athlete to a college freshman. And I had all this free time on my hand, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And so when I first got to college, it was very much a big adjustment that I didn't have to be doing something every second of the day, that I could pick and choose exactly what I wanted to be involved with. So for me, that was going to all the open involvement days at the activity fair and all the open, like, get to know this club days so I could find what I wanted to do. Because I came to college and I was like, well, my sport's not here. I'm kind of, what am I going to do with all my time? And so I had to develop a new system and a new enjoyment.
For me, coming to the College of Engineering, I did not have any students from my high school that came here, so just getting out and meeting new people was definitely a challenge. But really, there's so many, awesome people within the College of Engineering, both students and faculty, to get out and connect with, and they're willing to, connect you with resources like they were talking about earlier, transitioning from high school to college. There's people to help you build study habits, help you, to coach yourself how to study and stuff like that. So really just getting out and connecting with as many people as you can as early as possible is a great way to overcome any challenges that you may have because there are resources all over the place to really help you succeed.
So Austin would like to know, is there often events in the engineering space that allows you to get different perspectives? If so, what are some examples? So for example, how do mechanical engineers interact with, say, a biomedical engineer?
Yeah, well, there's always Engage with an Engineer, and that I believe happens usually on Thursday nights, but I could be wrong. But they happen at least once a month. There's always free food at these events, but at Engage with an Engineer, someone out in the field will come in and talk to you guys, and you can meet people from your major, both in your major and out of your major, and also engage with that person who's out in the field, which is really awesome. And then additionally, there's always LLP events. So even if that's a movie night or that's like trivia, Kahoot, bingo, you name it, we'll have it. And that's just an hour of your day to take your mind off of studying and so that you can meet other people in the LLP that you haven't already met.
Also, another great opportunity is all of us up here are involved in SEAM. SEAM is the Engineering College's honors pathway. And we've had the SEAM program is a mix of all engineers. Like we have, I'm pretty sure every single engineering major within our cohort. And that's a great way because you take classes with your cohort. So in my class on a given day, we'll have business students, we'll have engineers, we'll have computer science majors, we'll have mechanical, electrical, everything. And that just allows you to get their different viewpoints on the same problem. And it really helps you think through exactly like, oh, well, he approached it this way. That's a different way of thinking than I've been learning.
Yeah, in addition to the LLP programming and events and the SEAM honors pathway, really just the first year engineering courses are a great way to see students of all different majors because the first year engineering courses, like I think we mentioned it before, but all disciplines of engineering will take those same classes. So that's a really great way to kind of see, what other majors may be doing, and that may honestly pique like your interest in a certain field too. Because lots of students switch based on what other students like are talking about as maybe a potential career or things they've worked on in their classes. So really just getting out and interacting with the students within first year engineering is also a great way to connect with students of different disciplines.
Yeah, and as Bryson said, as a mechanical engineering student, I'm definitely not the only mechanical engineering student in my classes. I'm definitely meeting people from all different fields, which, like you said, is definitely a great way to hear different perspectives. So thank you for all of these great questions in the chat. Keep them coming, please. Peyton would like to know, are there any notable or interesting engineering projects you guys have worked on that you would like to share about? So I know just to start off my freshman year, we did a big project dealing with a catapult, and I know the following year was something else, which I'm sure one of them will touch on. But we did a catapult, and it was a whole lot of fun. So we got a lot of hands-on experience. We were in groups of 5. It was a great way to meet new people, bond, and you're put into these groups with computer engineers, biomedical engineers, and so it's not just all mechanical engineers in one group. Our goal was to try and shoot this ball the furthest, and so we kind of competed with each other, and we worked on the project for like 8 weeks out of the entire semester, so a lot went into it. And what I really liked is how helpful the professor was during the project. She didn't just throw it at us and say, okay, you know, do it on your own, don't ask me for any help. She was definitely always there to be with us. Of course, COVID shut it down very early, but while we were there in person, it was really fun. But I know you guys have some cool engineering projects to talk about too.
Yeah, so that was the first year engineering project. So like Bryson touched on earlier, it changes every year, but the huge project incorporates all aspects of engineering. So like you'll have something to do with MATLAB, which is coding. So you all will learn how to code. You'll go into the Innovation Center to do some sort of prototyping and to kind of put it all together for the mechanical aspect and civil aspect of it. I've also used the Innovation Center for this past summer when I talked about how I shadowed at Cardinal Hill. We ultimately were creating a device, a posture correction device, and there are some already on the market, but we focused ours on post-stroke patients. So though our device was not fully functioning, we did incorporate some code and in Arduino into a small device that I could prototype in the Innovation Center, which was really cool.
So for me, with the first year engineering project that we had, we were tasked with creating a water sampling device. And like Marley said earlier, it really incorporated a lot of the different disciplines. Rotational base and a lot of the structuring components were civil and mechanical oriented. And then there was a MATLAB component where you got to really look at a lot of different computer science aspects and things along those lines. Another group project that I actually got to work in really recently through the SEAM program was an opportunity to kind of start your own business. So for any students that are interested in maybe exploring into the business side of things, or maybe you're interested in going into the 5th year MBA program, really the SEAM pathway is a great opportunity to do that, because in your 2nd year you'll have the opportunity to kind of do your own startup exercise. And you're basically starting from scratch and tasked with starting a business. And by the end of the semester, you present on like how successful you were, maybe what profits you had, and things you learned along the way. So that's another great group project that I had that kind of allowed me to explore into the business side of things and gain a different sort of expertise.
I have the awesome opportunity to be part of Engineers Without Borders, which it's the same thing as Doctors Without Borders, but just for engineers, and we don't have a cool little slogan or anything. But this summer we're actually helping to build a pipeline in Guatemala. So we're going to a small town in Guatemala, and has a combination of all the different engineers involved with us. We've partnered with the Philadelphia chapter of Engineers Without Borders, and we're going to build a water pipeline that helps flow water from the top of this mountain in this purification site all the way through the town. And it's a great way to get involved because we have civils drawing up plans where, as a chemical engineer, I'm helping with like flow problems and friction losses and all of the mathematics, whereas like we have civils drawing them, mechanicals have developed a special pipe fitting to deal with the climate, and there's all these different aspects. So we've all gotten to be very involved with it. And this summer we're going to actually get to go to Guatemala to help input the system.
That sounds like a really cool project. I need to join you and work on that too. So Mason wants to know if it is easy to get overwhelmed and how do you de-stress?
Coming to college, I kind of learned that grades aren't everything. I know a lot of engineers are type A students and they always want the best grades and they think anything below an A is not good, which is totally not true. In the long run, but if you have the same resume as someone else and the only difference is a slight difference in GPA, that's not going to do it for the person that's employing you. So really don't stress about grades as much as you should. Of course, doesn't mean you can fail all your classes because then you don't have to retake them, but there are the resources you need there to help you throughout classes. And if there's one particular class that is quite overwhelming, there's so many people and faculty members and students that are there to help you. And I think just take a step back, look at the future, look at the overall picture. And I definitely learned after freshman year how to kind of relax myself and how to channel my stress, because some things I stress about are not important in the long run like I used to once think they were.
Yeah, I like to say a defining moment in an engineering career is your first B. It's a very defining moment. It's hard, it hurts our souls, but it's a defining moment in an engineer's career. And it really just goes to show how much important other things are, because I promise you, in 10 years, we will not even remember our first Bs. And that thought is really de-stressing, because you're like, oh, well, then it's more important that you get the experiences. Because what you're going to remember out college isn't that you got a B in your first statics class. What you're going to remember is, I got to rush the field when Kentucky beat Florida. And that was a much more, I promise you, a much more enjoyable experience than studying for that statics exam. And even that, when you're getting to like a resume and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a perfect 4.0, I promise you very few engineers that graduate do have a perfect 4.0. And a recruiter is more interested in getting to meet you as a person and understanding that you've had all these awesome experiences, that you've worked at all these different jobs, that you've been involved in all these clubs, than that you got a 4.0 because that's all you did was study. And so that thought right there, and that's what you learn, especially throughout your freshman year, you really learn this, and like the upperclassmen will keep reminding you that. And it really helps distressify the entire process.
Yeah, and engineering is one of the more difficult majors, but really I think if you're willing, to put forth the effort and reach out and make connections, people are willing to help you succeed. The study tutoring center that we talked about earlier on the first floor of the Woodland Glen 3 LOP facility is really a great way throughout your first year with your chemistry, physics, calculus classes. For maybe when you are struggling in those classes, to really have a student that's been in those classes before help you. We also have the Tau Beta Pi Tutoring Center, which is really focusing on once you have started to enter your major-specific classes. So that's a great way to reach out and maybe if you are struggling in a class, get some help and really boost your confidence to succeed in those classes. And then, like they said before, your direct success in these classes isn't necessarily everything. It's important to also get out and get involved with organizations and really boost your resume in other ways other than necessarily your academic performance.
I would also just say that one thing that helped me was just telling myself, it's okay to take a break, it's okay to take a nap, or to go rest and watch a movie. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's just something that I had to come into terms with, and that definitely helped me de-stress in stressful situations. So segueing from de-stress, JJ wants to know what your favorite things to do when you're not in class. So for me personally, I love going to the movies. We're right next to a movie theater, and we're also right next to a mall. So I like just getting together with my friends and getting off campus. Sometimes it's really good to just get away from the school and just go to the many things that are available to us off campus.
Yeah, that kind of touches on another reason why I chose UK and why I love Kentucky so much, is that you can drive 5 minutes one way and you're downtown, or 5 minutes the other way and you're on country roads and looking at horses. So there's so many things you can do outside of UK, outside of campus. You can literally go down the road a few miles and petting horses, or like she said, you can go to the mall, you can go to the movies. I like bowling a lot. Bowling's pretty fun. We have an arcade close by, and we have an arboretum, so there's walking paths. You'll always see so many cute dogs, or if you just like going for a walk or a run, which is really nice.
So in addition to the recreational tennis, I really like getting out and going to a lot of the sporting events. Being a part of Big Blue Nation is always good during football and basketball season. Just yesterday I went to one of the softball games, and there's always something going on campus. Whether it's athletic events or just student activity board events to go out and get involved in. They do tie-dye t-shirt sessions. They have guest speakers that come in. So there's really a lot of great events that go on campus-wide that are great ways to get out and maybe explore some new things that you haven't done before.
Yeah, exactly. Student Activity Board puts on a ton of great activities. One of the most recent ones they've done that I've really loved is they drop ping pong balls off the top of Patterson Office Tower, and you had the opportunity to win a blender and a speaker, and it was really great to see everyone. It was a really fun experience. But to reinforce the fact that engineers are nerds, my favorite activity I do is I'm involved in a board game club, and we meet once every other week, and it's a great way to de-stress, and we play games like Clue and Monopoly and fun games that are really not a lot of thinking but really enjoyable to play.
So we are going to be wrapping up in about 10 minutes. So if you have any other questions, post them now. Scott would like to know, how common is it for first-year students to have a part-time job, or does the course workload make it difficult? He also wants to know the most important lesson we learned in regards to time management. So do any of you have any experience working on campus?
Freshman year, before working at the Innovation Center, I started working at the Innovation Center sophomore year, but freshman year I worked at New Health, which is on campus in 2 locations by the gym, and New Health just provides protein bars. We make protein shakes, waters, you name it, anything you'd want before or after a workout. So I did work there almost all of freshman year, and it was very doable with your workload. I feel like a lot of part-time jobs, especially if they're on campus, one, they're easy to get to because you can just walk, and two, you can usually choose your own hours to work around your class and work schedule, which is really nice.
I've had my entire time here at UK, I've had a part-time job. As a freshman and sophomore, I was an intramural official and supervisor. So I got to ref the intramural basketball, football, soccer games. It was a great experience. And then as a junior, I've now moved into being a tutor here on campus for the athletes, which is a great experience. But I've also had the opportunity to have off-campus jobs, which are also very feasible. The city of Lexington is a college town. They know that we're college students. They're very willing to work around your schedules to make sure that you can get to work and have your classes and schedules. So I've had the opportunity to be both a waitress and a coach in Lexington. And it's a great way to give back to the community that gives so much to us as a college.
For me, I have not worked while I've been on campus. But as far as my most important study skill that I've developed is definitely keeping a planner or some sort of log of when everything needs to get done. Sometimes you can have lots of assignments that are maybe due on the same day, and it can be really easy to maybe forget one small assignment that you had in a certain class. So I think keeping a planner, or at least an organized list of what you need to do each day, is a great way to kind of stay on track and really manage all your responsibilities at once.
Yeah, I have a physical planner and I rely on it every day, but additionally to the physical planner, we use a software called Canvas, if you've never heard of it. And Canvas has a page of each of our classes on it, and as well as a full calendar. So each time one of your classes posts an assignment, it'll appear on the calendar. So you can take a broad look at each month and see what you have to do ahead, so you can always get ahead of things if possible and make sure you're always on top of things, which is really great.
I was going to say, make sure you keep those Canvas notifications on, because if you don't, you will miss something, and that will not be good.
I was going to say the exact same thing. The most important thing I've learned is to look at the due dates. Not everything is due at 11:59. Some of them are due at noon. So it's really important to learn very early on in your schooling experience that 12 p.m. is noon. It's not midnight, it's noon.
So when you get into the College of Engineering, you will be automatically assigned a College of Engineering advisor. How accessible are these advisors and your professors if you ever have a question?
They could not be more accessible, in my opinion. Jennifer is my advisor. She is amazing. I could not sing her praises any more than I do. We're talking from everything possible. She writes all my letters of recommendation. She brings me Cheerios and snacks on finals weeks when we're really stressed out, and she's absolutely amazing. I currently actually have 2 advisors. Jennifer is my honors advisor, while I have Marlene, who is my chemical engineering advisor. And to say Marlene takes on the world for her chemical engineering students is an understatement. If you need something done, if you need a class move, she has managed to move an entire section of Chem 2 for the chemical engineering students. I do not know how she accomplishes these feats and how she does it, but if you come to her and you need something, they will do anything to help you do that.
Yeah, I would agree with how accessible they are. A lot of them are as easy as walking into their office. They're usually there almost all day besides lunch, but you could literally just walk up and they're all relatively in the same space. A lot of them are on the same floor of the same building, and even if they're busy during that one moment, you could email them. Most of them respond within 10 minutes, and you'll have an appointment set up that day, if not the next day or whenever you need it. So easily accessible, very helpful. I've never had an issue with any advisor.
Yeah, both my honors and engineering advisors are always pretty much available. They respond to emails quickly, and they have an open door policy for visitation, so there's lots of opportunities to go in. And then the faculty do a really good job here of scheduling their office hours, obviously outside of class time, but in addition to scheduling, the professors scheduling their office hours, TAs often schedule their office hours too, so it gives you 2 times the chance to be able to attend those. And office hours are a great way to connect with your professors, like we've talked about before, because they're a great resource for you to help you succeed in your classes.
I agree. And then I would also say that, just speaking from personal experience, if you can never meet with them in person, they're always very accessible in Zoom as well. So there's always another option if you can't meet with them in person. So our last question of the evening comes from Drew Stumbo. How many friends have you made through the College of Engineering? What has been one of your best memories so far in UK engineering? He asked mainly in mechanical, but all of the College of Engineering as well.
I've made countless friends. Like, I could not count. Like, I will walk into the quad and I will see someone I know across the way, and even if we don't have time to stop and talk, we'll wave, and it's a great experience to always know people. My favorite memory of the College of Engineering is definitely my freshman year. Before I came to the College of Engineering, I had this opportunity to race cardboard boats in the local pool, and it was a great experience. It was quite funny to watch, and it was a memory. I will always have a picture of me sinking a cardboard boat now.
As for the amount of friends that I've made here at the College of Engineering, it's honestly countless. You interact with so many different people across all disciplines. It would really be even hard to come up with a number on that. As for a favorite memory, just at the end of the first year last year, when everyone was like completing their first year projects, just seeing like all the teams, finally at last finishing the water sampling device, and seeing it like follow through and perform through its complete like functionality was really great. Just seeing all the students working together and really, accomplishing that task at the end of the year was really great.
Yeah, I would have to say as well, countless friends. I cannot walk from one side of campus to the other without passing someone that I don't know, whether they're a biomedical engineering major or they're a mechanical engineering major, you name it, even non-engineering majors, due to the SEAM pathway and having met quite a few business majors as well. And then favorite memory as Kentucky in general, one definitely has to be when I was dancing on the field and we beat Florida and everyone rushed the field. That was the best thing ever. I will never forget that day. And then also last year we had a huge snowstorm and COVID was still kind of in the air, so we weren't allowed doing too many things that close, but since it was outside and there was a lot of snow on the ground, a lot of people, I mean like over 1,000 people went to the Willie T. Library, and there's like a dome outside the Willie T. Library, and we all sled down it with like posters or trash bags, you name it. We'd find something to sled down on, and you just saw so many people you hadn't seen in forever, and with all the snow, it was such a fun time.
That sounds like an awesome time. Just piggybacking off of them, I've met tons of people, more than I can count. I would probably say my favorite memory was the last day of finals. So me and my friends went out to a restaurant, we ate so much food, got ice cream after, and we just chilled out, stress-free, just threw away all of our homework, and it was just a great experience. So we are about out of time, but before we sign off, we thank everyone for watching and participating. For anyone who has any questions about anything that we covered tonight or any other unrelated topics, please feel free to contact us at visit@engr.uky.edu or text us at 859-267-1877. This information is in the description below and the chat box. If there are any other questions in the chat, our great staff will be answering questions for a few more minutes. For anyone who is interested in learning more about UK's College of Engineering, we encourage you to register for an information session, which is also being offered virtually with the College of Engineering by visiting our homepage at engr.uky.edu/visit. The link is also in the description below. For updated content about how our faculty, alumni, and students imagine what is possible, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or at engr.uky.edu. There is a link in the description to a quick survey. We would appreciate you taking a minute to share your feedback about Engineering Live with us so that we can improve the experience for future broadcasts. One more reminder, May 1st is the UK confirmation deadline, so be sure to schedule your orientation by May 1st. Thank you all again for joining us for Engineering Live. We look forward to seeing you all as Engineering Wildcats very soon.